Hello again. Welcome back to week 41 of year 5 of the Religious Education Initiative. This is day 3. We're continuing through the book of Acts. Last time we saw St. Paul arrested by the tribune who came upon the mob as they were taking Paul out of the temple to kill him. So St. Paul asked the tribune if he could address the people that were gathered together, and the tribune gave him permission. So Paul began to speak, giving his life story, his background, a Jew of Tarsus, zealous for the Torah, and dedicated to the destruction of the way of Christ. This time he will continue the story with his encounter with the Lord on the road to Damascus, and then he'll explain what he had done since that time. So he says, this is verse 6 of chapter 22. While I was on my way and approaching Damascus, about noon, a great light from heaven suddenly shone about me. I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? I answered, Who are you, Lord? Then he said to me, I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. Now those who were with me saw the light, but did not hear the voice of the one who was speaking to me. I asked, What am I to do, Lord? The Lord said to me, Get up and go to Damascus. There you will be told everything that has been assigned to you to do. Since I could not see because of the brightness of that light, those who were with me took my hand and led me to Damascus. A certain Ananias, who was a devout man according to the law, and well spoken of by all the Jews living there, came to me, and standing beside me, he said, Brother Saul, receive your sight. In that very hour I regained my sight, and saw him. Then he said, The God of our ancestors has chosen you to know his will, to see the righteous one, and to hear his own voice. For you will be his witness to all the world of what you have seen and heard. And now, why do you delay? Get up, be baptized, and have your sins washed away, calling on his name. After I had returned to Jerusalem, and while I was praying in the temple, I fell into a trance, and I saw Jesus saying to me, Hurry and get out of Jerusalem quickly, because they will not accept your testimony about me. And I said, Lord, they themselves know that in every synagogue I imprisoned and beat those who believed in you. And while the blood of your witness Stephen was shed, I myself was standing by, approving and keeping the coats of those who killed him. Then he said to me, Go, for I will send you far away to the Gentiles. Up to this point they listened to him, but then they shouted, Away with such a fellow from the earth, for he should not be allowed to live. And while they were shouting, throwing off their cloaks and tossing dust into the air, the tribune directed that Paul was to be brought into the barracks and ordered him to be examined by flogging, to find out the reason for this outcry against him. But when they had tied him up with thongs, Paul said to the centurion who was standing by, Is it legal for you to flog a Roman citizen who is uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went to the tribune and said to him, What are you about to do? This man is a Roman citizen. The tribune came and asked Paul, Tell me, are you a Roman citizen? And he said, Yes. The tribune answered, It cost me a large sum of money to get my citizenship. Paul said, But I was born a citizen. Immediately those who were about to examine him drew back from him, and the tribune also was afraid, for he realized that Paul was a Roman citizen and that he had bound him. Okay, so first, moving backwards. As a Roman citizen and as one born free, which is actually what it says, not I was born a citizen, but I was born free. Paul has rights that most people don't have. And we see the tribune is very used to dealing with people who don't have rights, because he doesn't hesitate to grab Paul, arrest him, put him in chains, tie him up with leather strips, and prepare to beat him. He's going to ask him what he did while he's beating him to find out why they're angry at him, because torture works so well. But anyway, that's a different issue. But Paul, being a Roman citizen, is exempt from that kind of treatment, and the tribune knows that. He knows he's messed up. He could get in very big trouble for doing this. But also we see, zooming out a little bit, he has no clue what's going on. He hasn't understood what Paul was saying to the crowd. He just knows this guy was talking, and all of a sudden they start throwing dust in the air and yelling and screaming and trying to get at him. And he's like, well, clearly that didn't work. Clearly they're still mad at him. But what Paul says is really striking, because he talks about the vision. He talks about not just the vision, the encounter with the Lord, with the bright light that blinds him on the road to Damascus. He talks about seeing a light and hearing a voice, but those who were with him didn't hear the voice. So this is God's message only to him. And he's told to go to Damascus, and he goes and is baptized. His sight is restored to him, and Ananias tells him what to do, and tells him, Ananias' words are striking. He says, "The God of our fathers has chosen you to know his will, to see the righteous one, and to hear his own voice." So he's saying, you just saw God. You saw the Messiah. You saw the long-promised anointed one. But the righteous one, I believe, that this is a reference to, he's saying you just saw God. That's important. And he says, now you are to be a witness of all you have seen and heard. So go to. And then, strikingly, Paul talks about something we haven't heard about otherwise, that he goes to Jerusalem, he's praying in the temple, and he has a vision. He sees Jesus himself. Not just a bright light, but he sees Jesus, who tells him to leave Jerusalem and gives him this job to go to the Gentiles. That's the point when the crowd loses it. You are preaching to the Gentiles. You are trying to bring them in. You are all, he just, in trying to tell his story, they consider he confirmed all the things that they had believed about him. They're done. They're freaking out again. So we'll see where this leaves Paul next time. But for now, he is not being beaten and examined that way because he's a Roman citizen. So that'll be it for now. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week.